Hello and welcome, this is Sim Racing Corner and my review for the Logitech Driving Force Shifter. This entry-level and very affordable 6-gear H-pattern shifter is an optional add-on device exclusively for Logitech wheelbases. However, using a third-party USB adapter, this shifter can be used as an independent shifting device that plugs directly into your PC and will work with all sim titles. And that's how I will be using this shifter in my review. From the external view, the driving force is virtually all hard plastic. Internally, there's also plastic and nylon parts, but also metal parts for the mechanism to ensure durability. I won't be taking it apart to examine that further, but if you are interested in how it's engineered, I'd recommend you watch the Sim Racing Garage review of this shifter and you'll find a very detailed examination of the working parts. Even though this shifter is constructed from plastic, it has a reassuringly chunky and solid feel. There's no twisting, flex or creaking. It should have no problem absorbing any abuse thrown at it during normal operation. The metal lever is covered by a leather effect dust cover. The same material is used to wrap the plastic gear knob. To attach the shifter to a tabletop surface, there are adjustable jaw clamps on either side of the shifter body. The jaws can accommodate thick and thin surfaces. There's also a screw you tighten to the underside of your table to prevent the front of the shifter from lifting. Alternatively, there are two M6 threaded screw holes for hard mounting the shifter. While testing the table clamp here, it is doing a solid job at holding the driving force shifter to my table. The Logitech Driving Force Shifter features 6 gears. For the reverse gear, you position the lever into the neutral position, push down on the gear knob to compress the spring-loaded shaft and engage 6th gear. I constructed this platform out of 80/20 aluminium profile to hard mount the Driving Force Shifter to my sim racing setup. Hopefully that was enough basic information and close-ups to get a good aspect of this product. We're now in game to talk about performance, quality and value. All that important stuff you want to hear in a review. So let's get started. As a manual gear shifter, it fulfills the purpose it's designed for perfectly well. The throw of the lever, by which I mean the distance of travel of the gear stick as you transition through gears, is just about perfect for me, and this makes shifting precise and quick, both very important features when you are busy racing. If you're heavy-handed, you may hit the wrong gear occasionally, but you know while you're doing it, you're making that mistake. And I was able to adjust quickly to overcome my initial errors. It's also critical to have the shifter located in a comfortable position so you can reach and articulate the lever in a natural way. If it's in a slightly awkward position, it will be more prone to misshifting. So spend a bit of time adjusting the position of the shifter. It's something I spent time on and it was worth the effort, rejigging the cluster of neighbouring devices that I have here. There is a light tactile element to the spring-loaded mechanism as the driving force shifter pops in and out of gears. It's not very strong, but still nice to have. The full mechanical feeling of a real manual gearbox is not replicated here. If I was to make a comparison, maybe it's about 10% weightiness compared to the real thing. I'm not sure if that makes proper sense, but I guess you can understand what I'm trying to describe there. We will take a look at some 3D printed mods that can enhance the mechanical feel of this shifter in future videos, or a future video. I guess we'll just see how that goes. But even in its stock state, it's still very satisfying using this shifter. And part of that in itself is the fact of the engagements with the car by using the correct gear shifting device, as with this Mini. Of course, you can have an easier life and just use paddle shifters. But using this H-pattern shifter does make sim driving more interesting. And that's what it's all about, simulating as best we can an authentic driving experience in cars most of us will never get the chance to drive in real life. And the Driving Force Shifter does a fine job in this regard, and the price point of this product, it is very cheap, which is down to the heavy use of plastic, but I don't think that should put you off. The build quality is sturdy. I demonstrated that earlier by bashing it around. Logitech can be trusted to produce reliable products. The Driving Force Shifter is basically a reimagined version of the G25 shifter from 2006. Then there's the G27 shifter, which was basically the G25 shifter as well. So it's a tried and tested platform. So I don't believe you should be at all concerned about its lifespan. It should last you, many, many years of service. And the only criticism I could levy is you have to source a third-party adapter if you don't use a Logitech wheel. But even with that added cost, it's still great value because it's only about £20 for the adapter. The shifter is pretty cheap. Get it on eBay maybe second-hand, and it's even greater savings to be had. So yeah, it's a bit of a stretch to be negative on that point. And maybe stronger resistance of the shifting would be very welcome. But again, at this price, it has its limitations. You can't really be too hard on it. But as I said, we'll see if we can improve that shifting feel with some 3D printed mods later on. So let's move on to my final verdict for the Logitech Driving Force Shifter. Well, it's pretty decent really, although it doesn't have the weighty feel of an actual manual shifter. You still operate it in a realistic way, shifting through the gears. So fundamentally, it fulfills the purpose it's designed for. I don't think anyone could argue about that. But where it really stands out, head and shoulders amongst the competition, is its incredible value. Simply, there's nothing else out there to match it close to this price. The next available option starts at over double the price of the Logitech Driving Force, and then upwards. If you step up to a more expensive alternative, you will enjoy more substantial feeling hardware. And I completely understand if you have the funds and sim race manual cars frequently, why spending more would be worthwhile. But for me, on a completely subjective note, I don't really drive manual cars often, but I did want to at least have the right type of device available for those times, and this Driving Force Shifter is perfectly suited for my circumstances, so I'm happy to continue using the Driving Force Shifter, and it will be staying on the sim rig for the foreseeable future because it's absolutely good enough for me and I have enjoyed using it, so take that for what it's worth. But also from my objective review point, I would add, don't write it off as a potential option. It's a really good place to start for a manual sim shifter. It's budget friendly, and you may find it's good enough for you too. And at the very least, it's easily sold on the second-hand market if you don't use it or decide to move up to a more expensive device. Okay, we'll part ways after some final words. If you own a Logitech shifter and have modded it, please drop some comments below the video. Let me know what you did, how you improved it. Maybe point me to some links of 3D printed parts or what you may have bought to improve the shifter for you. I am very interested into this aspect of improving the shifter, so yeah, it may be something I'll cover in future videos. Okay then, well thanks for watching. Like and subscribe of course. I will be back soon with something new, so don't forget to revisit the channel soon. And until then, happy simming and bye bye.